Chapter 4. The Yikavara Inn. Turi climbed down from his horse, tied it to a tree, and ran into the inn. It was silent and dark, and all of the doors and windows were closed. He rapped the door knocker on the front door. It made a loud, resounding bang that was sure to wake everyone up. But no one answered. He rattled the door, but it was locked. Impatiently, he banged the knocker again. This time, a window opened upstairs. A man wearing a nightcap leant out and asked in a sleepy voice what Turi wanted. "Is this the Yikavara Inn?" asked Turi. "Yes, it is." The man replied, "Did you really need to wake me to ask that? And probably my guests, too. We've had little enough rest tonight." "Are you the innkeeper?" asked Turi. "I'd like to speak to one of your guests." "In the middle of the night?" spluttered the man. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, young man. You'll have to come back tomorrow." "This is important," Turi said in an urgent tone. "Please don't close the window." The man leant out further. "Who are you?" he asked. "And what do you want to speak to?" "It doesn't matter who I am," Turi said. "I'm looking for the Black Knight with the white shield." The man made a strange noise. Turi couldn't quite tell whether it was anger or surprise. Either way, all traces of sleepiness had gone from his voice when he answered. "Wait there a moment. I'm coming down." The head disappeared from the window, and soon Turi heard the bolts of the door sliding aside. Then the door opened, and the man was standing there, wearing a nightshirt and carrying a candle. "Well then," he said, looking Turi up and down, "yes, I'm the innkeeper, and now you can tell me why you've got me out of bed." "I've come to see the Black Knight with the white shield," Turi answered. "I have to speak to him immediately." "You are the second one tonight," said the innkeeper, "but you won't be able to speak to him right now." "Can you wake him up?" said Turi. "I'm afraid that won't be possible," the innkeeper said again. The Black Knight with the white shield isn't here. He left earlier tonight." Turi gasped. "No," he said. "He can't have done." "And why not?" the innkeeper responded calmly. "Where did he go? Quickly tell me," said Turi. "If I knew, I'd tell you," replied the innkeeper, "but I don't have a clue." He seemed to have realized how anxious Turi was, because he added, "He should be back before long, at least if he's as good a knight as he seems to be. What is it that you need to say to him so urgently?" "I can't tell you that," said Turi, "but it's urgent. Do you know when he'll be back?" Again, "If I knew, I'd tell you," said the innkeeper, "but I don't know that either. In fact, I don't know anything at all about that knight. It's a strange business." He scratched his head so hard that his nightcap fell off. "You must know something," said Turi. "When did he leave, and why? And which way did he go?" "That's too many questions at once," said the innkeeper. He slowly stood to pick up his cap. Come in," he said. "I'm not keen on this damp morning air. It's not good for my stiff joints." When they were inside, he placed his candle on the table and put his nightcap back on. Turi asked impatiently, "So, which way did the Black Knight go?" "He got here yesterday morning," said the innkeeper. "Bit of a peculiar fellow. Not that I doubt he's a brave knight. Oh no. In fact, he was most impressive. He was alone, didn't even have a squire with him. He was wearing a pitch-black suit of armor, but the shield on his arm was as white as snow. He lowered his black visor and didn't raise it when he asked me for a room, or when he came into the inn. Well, I gave him a room, of course, and later that day I took some food to the room, as he requested. I thought I'd see his face then, but no. He'd taken off his armor, including his helmet, but he was wearing a black silk mask, and all I could see were his eyes. Don't you think that's strange? He must have taken some kind of vow. Would you know anything about that?" "Which way did he go?" Turi asked again. The innkeeper looked a little irritated, but he continued. "I was coming to that," he said. "At about 1 or 2 in the morning, when I was already in bed, there was a loud knocking at the door. I looked out of the window and saw another Black Knight. 'Open the door,' he shouted. 'Is the Black Knight with the white shield within?' Well, I told him that he was here, but I said it was a little late. And then the knight yelled at me to open the door, or he said he would knock it down. So I flew downstairs and opened the door. The knight was dressed in a pitch black suit of armor too, but he had a shield that was red as blood. Then he just barked at me. "Where's the knight with the white shield?" he said. I told him he was sleeping, and he ordered me to wake him up. Said he had to speak to him, and that I should be quick about it. Well, to be honest, he gave me a bit of a fright, but my guest was already coming down the stairs. He was dressed in his black armor and helmet. His visor was down. He was carrying his weapon, and had the white shield on his arm. The black knight with the red shield walked towards him, then stopped. They stood there, facing each other, right here in this very room. The knight with the red shield pulled off his glove and tossed it onto the floor at the other man's feet. The knight with the white shield picked it up and said, "Win." And the knight with the red shield said, "Now." The innkeeper stopped to catch a breath before finishing his tale. And then, without saying another word, the two of them marched out of here and rode off together into the forest. "To fight a duel?" said Turi. "Yes, that's what I thought too," said the innkeeper, "and neither of them has returned yet." "So they left about 2, asked Turi. "And what time is it now?" "4:30, or thereabouts," said the innkeeper. "The sun's coming up." "Which direction did they ride in?" asked Turi. The innkeeper went outside with Turi and pointed out the path they had taken. "But I don't know exactly where they were going," he said. "I'll try to follow their trail," said Turi. "Thank you." And before the innkeeper could ask any questions, Turi had run to his horse, jumped on, and ridden away.